Guys, really quick before I start this video, I'm going to begin uploading gaming content to my other channel, Flight Plays. So if you guys really like watching NBA 2K content or Madden content or any type of gaming content, I'd appreciate it if you could go and subscribe. I'm not really going to force you guys to do it, but it would make me happy if you could. Now let's get on to today's video. Guys, I know you may think it's a little too early to cover the 2020 NBA draft, considering the fact that we're 11 months away from that date, but the reason I like making these videos so early is because I feel like it would be really hysterical if you guys would tag me in one of my historically bad takes down the line and I could come back and, react to it and, accept that shame if I do make a bad take, which is bound to happen. I really base my analysis off of certain things, but there are times where you just can't help but make bad takes. So that's why I'm making this video so early. As most of you know, this year's draft isn't like last year's draft. There is no Zion Williamson or John Morant this year, and who knows, there may be a player that sticks out above everyone else, but there is no consensus number one overall pick as we enter this year. Last year, everyone knew in the very beginning it was a Zion Williamson year. But we do have a great pool of talent to potentially build a team around your favorite team. And any team that is rebuilding would be very lucky to get their hands on a player like Anthony Edwards. And the reason I'm saying this is personally, I love Anthony Edwards because he has an incredible story. And he's not a player that was like born with his basketball skill. Here, let me get into it. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. 1 year ago, Anthony Edwards was a relative unknown, a player who was just a 4-star recruit. In May of last year, he was ranked as the number 27 player in the 2020 recruiting class. He was able to reclassify to forego his final year of high school, and once he reclassified, he became the number 4 player in the 2019 recruiting class. The reason why I have him as a potential number 1 overall pick is Edwards' game is perfect for the modern NBA. Anthony Edwards is a scoring combo guard, but he has no problem creating plays for his teammates. He's shown an ability to create his own shot with drives, pull-ups, and he is insanely athletic. So I know that a lot of people like to throw around the term athleticism. So whenever I'm going to say a player is athletic, I'm going to compare his level of athleticism to a specific player in the NBA. If I say he has LeBron James-like athleticism or Zion Williamson-like athleticism, you'll know what I'm talking about. Some players may have Tracy McGrady-like athleticism. Some players may have Blake Griffin-like athleticism. Well, Anthony Edwards has a young Dwayne Wade's athleticism, and his slashing ability kind of resembles his as well. And I don't know if I'm saying that because he's 6'4" and Dwayne Wade is 6'4", but there are a lot of times where players have all the tools to be successful, but you have to wonder if they have the same love for the game of basketball. And we've seen this in sports many times. Players that are good at basketball, they just don't love the game, and that's typically their downfall. Players like Derek Coleman, for example. So I'll tell you this story about Anthony Edwards, and you'll understand his love for the game and his work ethic as well. Edwards has a football background as well, and according to this interview with Edwards, he says, "I could have been a professional football player. I was really good. The number 1 running back in the country at the age of 10. I stopped playing because I saw my brothers play basketball and I thought that it looked like more fun." Edwards then goes on to describe the day he fell in love with basketball. I'm in the backyard of my grandma's house, he says. In the summertime, my brothers and I had nothing else to do unless we were going to summer camp. We just used to go out there and play, and I never used to win, so I just got fed up with it. And one day, I said to myself that I'm going to beat them. And he did finally beat them, but it was when he was in 9th grade. And that's when he began training to become a basketball player. At that time, Justin Holland, who is Anthony Edwards' trainer, was shocked because Anthony Edwards was known at the time as a football player. And Justin Holland knew he had a long way to go as a basketball player. But one day, Anthony Edwards demonstrated his IQ for the game of basketball to his trainer, saying to his coach, "Yo, coach, if I learn how to shoot the ball, I'm going to be the best player in the country. I'll be unguardable." He literally said this when he was only a freshman in high school. So they began building his jump shot from scratch. Imagine that, man. Imagine just building and learning how to shoot as a freshman in high school. At the most fundamental level, Justin Holland prioritized maintaining proper form and getting the right rotation on the ball. He did this by making Edwards make 80 shots in front of the rim with the mechanics his coach required. That first year of training, his coach didn't even let Edwards shoot a three, just to emphasize the importance of proper form. It took some time going into his sophomore year because all Edwards had was a strong finishing ability that he had from his days playing football. But it was this year that Edwards would evolve from an athlete to a basketball player. He would begin making mid-range jumpers and was shocked at his development, but knew that he still had to improve. Edwards would then show up at the Pangos All-American camp, and that is when the internet officially recognized him, and the NBA PA Top 100 camp. He won co-MVP honors at Steph Curry's SC30 camp and dominated the Under Armour circuit each time he stepped foot on that court. He averaged 21.4 points, 5.9 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks per game, shooting 53% from the field and, get this, 38% from three-point in the Under Armour Association. He ended the season with 9 straight games scoring at least 20 points, and when all the dust settled, he won league MVP. Edwards accomplished all of this as an incoming junior, and he was so good that he was able to skip his senior year in order to commit to Georgia, something that we saw Marvin Bagley do 2 seasons prior. The man they dubbed as Ant-Man has officially arrived, and he's ready to take over the NCAA before becoming the #1 overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft.